And make sure her lines are patent.
Grey's Anatomy fans, get ready. Season 22, Episode 5, titled Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, drops Thursday, November 6, 2025, airing at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on ABC, and streaming next day on Hulu. This week's episode follows Joe Wilson, who faces an emotional challenge treating a complex case involving a pregnant patient. Meanwhile, Blue and Jules handle a diabetic crisis, and Simone uncovers a shocking revelation that could change everything at Grey Sloan. Behind the camera, this episode marks a milestone moment. Broadway director Sammy Cannell makes her television directorial debut. Known for her acclaimed work at the Lincoln Center and Kennedy Center, Cannell brings a fresh, cinematic approach to Grey's, blending musical theater energy with TV drama. Fans can expect an episode filled with powerful performances, emotional twists, and standout moments between longtime favorites, including Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, and Jesse Williams. Don't miss it. Tune in to ABC or stream on Hulu to catch the latest from the world's longest-running medical drama. Hey lovely viewers, welcome to our channel Grey's Anatomy Official. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 Release Date Time. Where to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 release date and time are not too far away, and fans are excited to find out when they can tune in. In the upcoming episode, titled Sometimes I Feel Like a Motherless Child, viewers will get a chance to explore how Joe manages a complex case involving a pregnant patient. Meanwhile, Blue and Jules attend to a diabetic patient, and Simone faces a case that leads to an unexpected revelation. So, without any further ado, let's quickly dive right into the release date and time details of Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5, along with information on how to watch the show online. When is the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 release date and time? The episode's release date is Thursday, November 6, 2025, and its release time is 7 p.m. Pacific Time and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Time zone release date release time. Eastern Time November 6, 2025 10 p.m. Pacific Time November 6, 2025 7 p.m. Find out how many episodes will be available to watch in Grey's Anatomy Season 22. Where to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5. You can watch Grey's Anatomy Season 22 Episode 5 via ABC Networks and Hulu. ABC Network is a prominent American television network, renowned for its diverse array of popular programs, news broadcasts, and live events. Conversely, Hulu is acknowledged as a leading streaming service that offers on-demand access to television shows, films, and exclusive original programming. Both platforms allow audiences to indulge in their beloved long-running drama series, Grey's Anatomy Season 22. What is Grey's Anatomy about? The official synopsis for Grey's Anatomy is as follows. Sammy Cannell makes her directorial debut for Grey's Anatomy. The latest episode of Grey's Anatomy, titled Goodbye Horses, marks Sammy Cannell's first time not only directing the long-running show but also a TV series. Cannell comes from the world of musical theater, and her experience includes helming productions on Broadway, the Kennedy Center, and the Lincoln Center, a very far cry from the Grey Sloan Memorial. But coming to the episodic television side of things actually had more in common with her musical theater experience than expected. It's a really interesting fit. Because when we direct musicals, there's so many logistics and moving pieces. You're working with over 100 people, which is different from more intimate stage plays, Cannell says. So there was a similar muscle of, there are 100 people here today, and we all have to be working toward the same goal, and we have limited time. I was really grateful that even though the terminology and the exact specifics are different, the skill set felt somewhat transferable. The episode, written by Jace Miles Perez, is a momentous one when it comes to original cast members, 3 of whom make an appearance, as well as the return of Jackson Avery, played by Jesse Williams. We also get to watch Teddy and Cass' potential relationship unfold a bit more. The relationships are a huge crux of the episode, something Cannell enjoyed exploring. We spend a lot of time doing character work in the theater, and I was really excited to have an episode that demanded really deep performances from so many characters, she says. Moving from live theater to episodic television was a challenge for Cannell. She didn't necessarily have all the technical language when it came to the camera work, but it was also something that presented new opportunities for storytelling. While she's previously made short films, Directing an episode of TV allowed her to more fully explore how a camera can bring the audience on a journey. In theater, you usually see it from one perspective, and that is your understanding of a story, she explains. I can't zoom in a theater. I can't show you someone's face from this angle. I can't get a take of only this person reacting to this moment. TV, to me, gives you so much more dimension through which to tell a given story. In theater, I can only work with what I can move. In TV and film, I can work with both what can be moved and how to shoot it. Here, Cannell discusses her experience joining Grey's Anatomy, that funny hopping hobby horse moment, working with incredible mentors, and what's coming up next. How did you get your job directing an episode of Grey's Anatomy? Sammy Cannell. I was so fortunate that a friend of mine was in the room 2 seasons ago, and she made it possible for me to shadow Chandra Wilson for a day, which was incredible. And then, a combination of Chandra and executive producer/writer Mark Driscoll and Debbie Allen made it possible for me to come to shadow for a full episode for Chandra again. Then, I ended up shadowing Debbie a little bit as well and spending a lot of time on set. Through that, and in conversations with Debbie and Shondaland, I was invited to come direct. When you come to shadow a director, what is your role? See, it's incredible because the role is to learn. I'm a theater director, and I'm trained in musical theater. I direct on Broadway, so coming over to TV, there was only so much that I could learn from books and podcasts and asking questions. I didn't go to film school. So, the opportunity to be on set and see everything and soak in everything was invaluable. I was on set for 150 hours in total. You see and learn so much when you're there for that long. Debbie Allen oversees the director recruitment and training program. When you're shadowing any director on Grey's, she will come to set, and she will come up to you when you might not be expecting it. You'll be watching a scene being blocked or being shot, and she will say to you, how would you block and shoot the scene? You have to be ready with an answer because you've done your prep alongside the director, and your answer shouldn't be the same as what the director is doing at that moment. That really kept me on my toes. She came and asked me 6 or 7 times. I think it's a way for her to understand how directors who might end up directing on the show think and whether or not they would be a fit. It's also a way for us as directors to start exercising the muscle of, okay, if we were in that set, how would we do it? What was the most important thing you learned from shadowing Chandra? How to direct TV, period. It was a combo of Chandra and Debbie because I ended up shadowing both of them. But Chandra, because she is an actor, understands how to make all the pieces fit together in a way where the actor feels really involved and heard. I think one of the big distinctions for me from theater is that when you rehearse these scenes in episodic TV, you have 18 minutes to rehearse them. In the theater, we have weeks. Watching Chandra work with actors in the span of 18 minutes to say, okay, here's the way I see the scene. Here is how I like to block it. But then an actor says something that reveals they might see a scene a little bit differently, or they might have interesting ideas. So, watching Chandra meet them where they're at and merge those two to create something that coalesced was really awesome to see. How did it feel to actually direct her after that? See, I have to be honest. I was terrified to direct Chandra. Imagine your 4th grade teacher was sitting in your class when you started teaching 4th grade. It's a funny roundabout thing, but such an honor. And my very first scene was with Chandra, so there was comfort in that, but there was also a great deal of fear because she's taught me most of what I know. She was in 6 or 7 scenes of the episode 1 directed, and every scene we shot, she would check in on me and say, "You doing okay? Do you need anything?" Chandra takes mentorship very seriously, as does Debbie. And I feel so fortunate to have such incredible mentors. What was your preparation process for your episode? See, another one of the differences from theater to episodic TV is that in theater, prep is independent. In episodic TV, it's part of your job, so it was myself and the DP and the first AD, who were both just so amazing, for a week prepping the script together. I would come in with a proposed shot list for a given scene, and then the DP and I would really interrogate it, talk it out, and see if there was a better idea. We would go walk the set of that given scene and confirm that we still felt right about it. I love how prep-oriented the world of TV is and how much that prep is collaborative. What were you most excited by in the script? The fact that the 3 originals were in my episode was so meaningful to me. To get to work with Ellen Pompeo and Jim and Chandra was such an honor. Coming to direct the 452nd episode of Grey's, and then to get to be with these legends who we've watched on TV for over 2 decades, was so cool. I knew Chandra, obviously, and I'd been on set with Jim from when he was in Chandra's episode, but I'd never been on set with Ellen before. It was really meaningful to get to direct her. And Jesse Williams is in my episode too. I felt lucky that my episode is pretty classic as far as a Grey's episode goes. There's a really funny storyline about hobby horsing. How did you want to approach that? I loved it when I saw it in the script. That's actually an area of the episode where I felt that I got to have a lot of creative freedom. There's a scene in the episode where one of the boys is showing Simone Alexis Floyd a video on his phone of hobby horsing, and it's not clear in the script whether or not that has to be shown. I asked Meg Marinis, the showrunner, whether that should be depicted. She was like, well, it's up to you. I was so excited by the possibility of showing what it looks like because it's actually quite athletic. This whole episode, everybody's been making fun of this thing, and then you see it and you're like, oh wait. Actually, maybe what these boys do is something that's a really interesting passion. In the very first meeting I had with the full team, I sheepishly was like, I would like to show hobby horsing. I didn't know if it was going to be received well or shot down. Debbie immediately jumped in and was like, I support you in that venture. Let's make it happen. And then, so many departments rallied around making what was ultimately a 4-second video. I'm excited that it made it into the episode because I think it adds a whole dimension to what this activity is. It required an extra effort on the part of so many people because we needed to create a gym where they would be having this hobby horse competition. We had to train the actor in how to jump over these hurdles with a hobby horse between his legs. But I'm really grateful it's there. It's my personal stamp on the episode. What was the biggest challenge of the episode? The episode opens with a hotel room scene between Teddy and Cass, and I really wanted it to feel heavy, hot, and amazing. For me, making that feel natural, and making the actors feel comfortable and safe, and making it feel like we didn't manufacture it was a challenge. It was something we planned so precisely. And there's so much freedom in prepping something so specifically. Because when you prep it, you and the actors make sure that you're all on the same page, and then they can experiment within that. I was so lucky that Kim Raver and Sophia Bush were so kind and generous. We started talking about how to do that scene weeks before we shot it, myself, the actors, and the intimacy director, so that we could really make sure everyone felt good and on the same page. Ironically, even though it's the scene that opens the episode, it was the very last thing we shot. So the whole episode, I was like, wow, it's going great. This is going well, but we still have to do what I think is the hardest scene. Ultimately, what did it mean for you to get to direct an episode of Grey's Anatomy? It was the greatest gift. I understand what an incredible leap of faith so many people have to take to be able to give somebody their first episode on a show, and even more to give someone their first episode, ever. It took so many people saying yes, and so many people trying to champion me and open doors for me. I'm so extraordinarily grateful. I'm so grateful for the trust of the crew and the trust of the actors. And the thing that really continues to strike me over and over again is how meaningful it is that Debbie and Chandra are Broadway people. They're people who come from the same world that I do, and to have female mentors who have the same cross-section of training is amazing. We have the same vocabulary. I looked up to them as legends in the theater world. So, to have my first episodic experience be with people who speak the same language that I do is so meaningful to me. I could not have imagined a more supportive environment in which to do something for the first time. Are you planning to direct more TV? I would love to. I would be so thrilled to direct more episodic TV. I love it so much. When I came back to the theater, people were asking, oh, do you like it more than theater? I'm like, don't ask me to pick a favorite child. I love them both. What else do you have coming up? I have a new musical, Grimm, that is going to the La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego next year. And then there are 2 other new musicals that I'm developing. The rest I'm not allowed to talk about yet. When does Grey's Anatomy return in 2025? Season 21 mid-season premiere date. Time Grey's Anatomy fans can breathe again knowing the show premieres this week. The long-running medical drama will air its mid-season premiere on Thursday, picking up after its gut-wrenching Season 21 cliffhanger in the fall. In true Grey's fashion, The episode ended with Joe Wilson, Camilla Luddington, getting shot following an armed store robbery while going into labor. The mid-season premiere will pick up in the aftermath of shooting at Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital, where Joe's romantic partner Atticus Lincoln, Chris Carmack, is working, unaware of what happened. The episode will also follow Ben Warren, Jason Winston George, facing roadblocks with his new emergency preparedness plan, romantic tensions for Owen Hunt, Kevin McKidd, as well as a surgical plan dispute between doctors Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone, and Dr. Winston Degue Anthony Hill. Here's what to know about the Grey's Anatomy Season 21 mid-season premiere this week. When does the next episode of Grey's Anatomy come out? Grey's Anatomy returns for the Season 21 mid-season premiere on Thursday, March 6 at 10 p.m. in all U.S. time zones on ABC. How to watch Grey's Anatomy Season 21. New episodes of Grey's Anatomy Season 21 will air on ABC. Fans can also stream the episode on Hulu on Friday morning. The first 20 seasons of the series are available to stream on both Netflix and Hulu. Netflix typically adds new seasons of Grey's Anatomy after a season wraps up, and the same is expected for Season 21. How many episodes of Grey's Anatomy Season 21 will there be? Season 21 of Grey's Anatomy will have 18 episodes, an increase from only 10 episodes in Season 20. Last season was shortened by the actors and writers' strikes of 2023. The medical drama typically premieres new seasons in the fall and concludes in the spring. Is Meredith Grey back on Grey's Anatomy? Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompey, will appear in at least 7 of Season 21's 18 episodes, Deadline reported, citing anonymous sources. In August 2022, Pompeo announced she would have a limited appearance on Season 19 and has continued to be in a small portion of seasons since. However, she continues to serve as an executive producer and offer her staple voiceover narrations in each episode. What year did Grey's Anatomy start? Grey's Anatomy debuted its first episode, titled A Hard Day's Night, on ABC on March 27, 2005. The series pilot chronicled the first day of 5 surgical interns at Seattle Grace Hospital, and the series has since followed the personal and professional lives of staff at the center now named Gray Sloan Memorial Hospital. Grey's Anatomy reveals surprise pregnancy and major cast members' hiatus following shocking death. This article contains spoilers for Grey's Anatomy Season 22, Episode 2, We Built This City. After enduring the heart-wrenching death of Dr. Monica Beltran, played by Natalie Morales, in the Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premiere, the beloved drama wasn't done with putting its viewers through the ringer. The October 16th episode of the hit ABC series, which marked the show's 450th hour, picked up right where the premiere left off, with the doctors of Gray Sloan reeling from having to mourn one of their own yet again. But no one was taking the hit harder than Amelia Shepard, Katerina Scorsone, who was devastated when she learned the blast was caused by the mother of her patient Dylan. The doctor spends the episode shouldering the blame for the explosion and Monica's death because it was her decision to take Dylan's seemingly impossible case. And it all feels for naught since, as Amelia reveals in the episode, Dylan remains locked and awake in her body after 2 surgeries, unable to blink, and will likely have to spend the rest of her life in a long-term care facility. Even an intervention by Meredith, Ellen Pompeo, and Maggie Kelly McCreary isn't enough to bolster Amelia's grief, and she announces her decision to take a sabbatical at the end of the episode. But that wasn't the only surprise of the night. Maggie had her own news to share with her sisters. The cardiothoracic surgeon revealed that she is expecting a baby by a sperm donor, telling Meredith and Amelia that she is embarking on parenthood solo thanks to donor number 12715. You guys think I've lost my mind? Maggie asks after sharing that she hasn't told her on-again, off-again beau Winston, Anthony Hill, yet, to which Meredith responds, maybe it's a lot of work. Maggie's news was an unexpected treat for fans who will have to contend with a lengthy absence from Scorsone for Amelia's sabbatical. Scorsone won't appear until 2026, Entertainment Weekly has learned, and Deadline reports that the actress will miss 8 consecutive episodes in total. The outlet also reported that the decision to cut back on Scorsone's appearances came amid a recent shift in the minimum guarantees for its veteran cast members made as a cost-saving measure. The minimum guarantees were reduced to 14 out of the show's 18 episodes per season, meaning some of Grey's Anatomy's stars won't appear in 4 episodes, usually sprinkled throughout the season. Scorsone's double-count absence is an exception. Get your daily dose of entertainment news, celebrity updates, and what to watch with our EW Dispatch newsletter. But fans shouldn't be worried. Scorzone is still a series regular and will be back on Grey's. Hopefully her return will be on a happier note that will see her patient's condition improve with a good old-fashioned Grey's miracle. Shonda Rhimes' messy and addictive 94% Rotten Tomatoes drama is now streaming for free. Few television creators have left as big a mark on pop culture as Shonda Rhimes. The prolific writer and producer behind Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton built her career on complex characters, crackling monologues, and unapologetically bold storytelling. Long before streaming redefined appointment television, Rhimes was already doing it, crafting a series that blended the high-stakes world of politics with forbidden romance and became nothing short of a pop culture phenomenon. Premiering in 2012, Scandal was Rhimes at her boldest. The series turned Kerry Washington's Olivia Pope into a cultural icon and transformed television into an interactive experience, as fans live-tweeted every shocking twist in real time. It wasn't the first show to embrace social media, but it was one of the first to truly harness it, creating a sense of community and shared obsession that made every Thursday night feel like an event. Now streaming for free on Tubi, Scandal remains a reminder of a network drama that was never afraid to go big, get messy, and deliver powerhouse performances. What is Scandal about? Few television creators have left as big a mark on pop culture as Shonda Rhimes. The prolific writer and producer behind Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton built her career on complex characters, crackling monologues, and unapologetically bold storytelling. Long before streaming redefined appointment television, Rhimes was already doing it, crafting a series that blended the high-stakes world of politics with forbidden romance and became nothing short of a pop culture phenomenon. Premiering in 2012, Scandal was Rhimes at her boldest. The series turned Kerry Washington's Olivia Pope into a cultural icon and transformed television into an interactive experience, as fans live-tweeted every shocking twist in real time. It wasn't the first show to embrace social media, but it was one of the first to truly harness it, creating a sense of community and shared obsession that made every Thursday night feel like an event. Now streaming for free on Tubi, Scandal remains a reminder of a network drama that was never afraid to go big, get messy, and deliver powerhouse performances. What is Scandal about? Set in the high-stakes world of Washington, D.C., Scandal follows Olivia Pope Washington, a crisis management expert whose firm specializes in fixing political disasters before they go public. Her work ranges from covering up sex scandals to stopping journalists from leaking classified intel, even hiding a murder that could jeopardize the White House. Olivia is whip-smart, fearless, and fiercely composed, but beneath her perfectly tailored exterior lies a woman deeply flawed and conflicted. At the center of the series is Olivia's intoxicating and complicated relationship with President Fitzgerald Grant, Tony Goldwyn. Their forbidden affair, which was equal parts passion and power struggle, became one of television's most talked-about storylines. Even today, fans argue that the on-screen chemistry between Goldwyn and Washington remains unmatched. Rhimes and her writers never shied away from the messy, all-consuming nature of their love or the moral compromises it demanded. Of course, Scandal wouldn't be complete without Olivia's team of gladiators in suits. Quinn, Katie Lowes, the rookie-turned-ruthless fixer, Huck, Guillermo Diaz, the brilliant but broken hacker, and Abby, Darby Stanchfield, her fiercely loyal right hand. And then there's Cyrus Bean, Jeff Perry, the president's calculating chief of staff whose ambition knows no limits. Together, they created a vivid, fast-talking world where political power and personal secrets constantly collided. But what truly made Scandal groundbreaking was Kerry Washington herself. As the first Black woman to lead a primetime network drama in nearly 4 decades, her performance made history, bringing depth, vulnerability, and fire to one of television's most unforgettable characters. Scandal is Shonda Rhimes at her best. Shonda Rhimes had already become a household name after the massive success of Grey's Anatomy. But her true test came with her sophomore series, and Scandal proved she was just getting started. Not only was the show another massive hit, but it was also a cultural event. Every Thursday night became Shondaland night, with viewers tweeting live reactions, sipping wine and eating popcorn right alongside Olivia Pope. By the time How to Get Away with Murder joined the lineup, Rhimes had turned ABC's entire Thursday block into must-watch television. While Grey's Anatomy established Rhimes as a master of ensemble storytelling, Scandal is where her signature style hit its peak. The dialogue was whip-smart and relentless. The tone could pivot from heartbreaking to hilarious in seconds, and every episode ended on a must-watch cliffhanger. Rhimes knew audiences craved both shocking twists and emotional catharsis, and she delivered both on a weekly basis. The show's fast-paced dialogue and bold, often operatic monologues became part of its DNA, especially those delivered by Kerry Washington and Joe Morton. Morton's infamous "You Are a Scandal" speech remains one of the most chilling moments in network television history. Few television creators have left as big a mark on pop culture as Shonda Rhimes. The prolific writer and producer behind Grey's Anatomy and Bridgerton built her career on complex characters, crackling monologues, and unapologetically bold storytelling. Long before streaming redefined appointment television, Rhimes was already doing it, crafting a series that blended the high-stakes world of politics with forbidden romance and became nothing short of a pop culture phenomenon. Premiering in 2012, Scandal was Rhimes at her boldest. The series turned Kerry Washington's Olivia Pope into a cultural icon and transformed television into an interactive experience, as fans live-tweeted every shocking twist in real time. It wasn't the first show to embrace social media, but it was one of the first to truly harness it, creating a sense of community and shared obsession that made every Thursday night feel like an event. Now streaming for free on Tubi, Scandal remains a reminder of a network drama that was never afraid to go big, get messy, and deliver powerhouse performances. What is Scandal about? Set in the high-stakes world of Washington, D.C., Scandal follows Olivia Pope Washington, a crisis management expert whose firm specializes in fixing political disasters before they go public. Her work ranges from covering up sex scandals to stopping journalists from leaking classified intel, even hiding a murder that could jeopardize the White House. Olivia is whip-smart, fearless, and fiercely composed, but beneath her perfectly tailored exterior lies a woman deeply flawed and conflicted. At the center of the series is Olivia's intoxicating and complicated relationship with President Fitzgerald Grant, Tony Goldwyn. Their forbidden affair, which was equal parts passion and power struggle, became one of television's most talked-about storylines. Even today, fans argue that the on-screen chemistry between Goldwyn and Washington remains unmatched. Rhimes and her writers never shied away from the messy, all-consuming nature of their love or the moral compromises it demanded. Of course, Scandal wouldn't be complete without Olivia's team of gladiators in suits: Quinn, Katie Lowes, the rookie-turned-ruthless fixer, Huck, Guillermo Diaz, the brilliant but broken hacker, and Abby Darby Stanchfield, her fiercely loyal right hand. And then there's Cyrus Bean, Jeff Perry, the president's calculating chief of staff whose ambition knows no limits. Together, they created a vivid, fast-talking world where political power and personal secrets constantly collided. But what truly made Scandal groundbreaking was Kerry Washington herself. As the first Black woman to lead a primetime network drama in nearly 4 decades, her performance made history, bringing depth, vulnerability, and fire to one of television's most unforgettable characters. Scandal is Shonda Rhimes at her best. Kerry Washington and Tony Goldwyn in Scandal. Image via ABC. Shonda Rhimes had already become a household name after the massive success of Grey's Anatomy, but her true test came with her sophomore series, and Scandal proved she was just getting started. Not only was the show another massive hit, but it was also a cultural event. Every Thursday night became Shondaland night, with viewers tweeting live reactions, sipping wine and eating popcorn right alongside Olivia Pope. By the time How to Get Away with Murder joined the lineup, Rhimes had turned ABC's entire Thursday block into must-watch television. While Grey's Anatomy established Rhimes as a master of ensemble storytelling, Scandal is where her signature style hit its peak. The dialogue was whip-smart and relentless. The tone could pivot from heartbreaking to hilarious in seconds, and every episode ended on a must-watch cliffhanger. Rhimes knew audiences craved both shocking twists and emotional catharsis, and she delivered both on a weekly basis. The show's fast-paced dialogue and bold, often operatic monologues became part of its DNA, especially those delivered by Kerry Washington and Joe Morton. Morton's infamous "You Are a Scandal" speech remains one of the most chilling moments in network television history. The best Shonda Rhimes shows ranked. Even beyond its cultural importance, Scandal remains thrilling to watch. The pacing is relentless, the writing razor-sharp, and the performances consistently top-tier. It's the kind of show that reminds you why network television once dominated the cultural conversation, because when it's done right, it can still deliver some of the most gripping, emotional storytelling with unbeatable on-screen chemistry. Everything Katherine Heigl has said about Grey's Anatomy since Season 6 exit. It's been over a decade since Grey's Anatomy fans saw Izzy, but that doesn't mean that fans have forgotten about Katherine Heigl's time on the series. I felt very protective of Izzy, Heigl told USA Today in 2010. I really loved her. I felt she was an admirable woman who certainly made mistakes. But I was starting to not like her, and that bothered me. The Firefly Lane star appeared as Izzy Stevens on more than 100 episodes of the ABC medical drama, but she left the series halfway through shooting Season 6 in 2010. Her departure came after Heigl publicly feuded with creator Shonda Rhimes. Krista Vernoff, who worked on Seasons 1 through 7 of Grey's before returning as the showrunner for Season 14, told the Los Angeles Times in November 2020 that there was a resolution to Izzy's story, but they got a call that Katie wasn't coming to shoot the episode. After the LA Times profile was published, however, sources close to Heigl told Us Weekly that Vernoff was mistaken when it came to the actress' exit from the series. Katherine was back in LA after parental leave, when she adopted her daughter, waiting to be called to set, the insider said. Grey's star Justin Chambers quietly left the show during Season 16, and fans learned that his character Alex reunited with Izzy, who secretly had their twins, off-screen in Kansas. Grey's Anatomy Season 22 renewal cements its record as longest-running medical drama. ABC has officially renewed Grey's Anatomy for a historic 22nd season. This decision solidifies the show's standing as American television's longest-running primetime medical drama. The renewal was confirmed by network executives in late 2024. The series continues to draw significant viewership across broadcast and streaming platforms. According to Reuters, the show was streamed over 1 billion times in 2024 alone. This enduring popularity justifies the continued investment from Disney. Secrets behind the show's unprecedented longevity. The series has survived numerous cast changes and off-screen controversies. Original stars Ellen Pompeo, Chandra Wilson, and James Pickens Jr. remain from the first season. Their consistent presence has provided a backbone for the revolving door of surgical interns and residents. Producer Meg Marinis described the show's philosophy as dropping in kernels of hope. This approach balances dramatic medical crises with character-driven optimism. The writing team consistently integrates real-world medical headlines, ensuring storylines feel current and relevant. Cultural impact and future prospects. Grey's Anatomy has shaped television for a generation of viewers. Its soundtrack, featuring bands like The Fray and Snow Patrol, became synonymous with emotional storytelling. The show also pioneered diverse representation in its casting and character narratives. Sophia Bush is back to gay up Grey's Anatomy Season 22 when Sophia Bush swooped into last week's episode of Grey's Anatomy, and the episode ended with Teddy giving Dr. Cass Beckman a smooch. I worried it was a fluke. A one-time thing Teddy would regret and back away from. A cliffhanger to tease us. After all, they've been dispatching queer characters left and right lately. Helm seemed to have vanished into the parking lot of no return. Beltran died in Jules' arms. Amelia went on sabbatical. So I thought poor Teddy would be trapped in her marriage to Owen and we'd never hear about her bisexuality again. This week's episode opens with Teddy and Cass ankle rubbing and shoulder kissing and being late on purpose. Apparently, they've been having sexy times in Teddy's hotel for a week now, but today they're going to be late for work if they don't leave soon. Cass convinces Teddy to stay in bed a little longer by saying they can carpool, and while Teddy is worried about how that will look, Cass assures her that people carpool for plenty of reasons, not just sexy reasons. Teddy convinces herself that it's a good idea because it's better for the environment, and pretends it has nothing to do with the sexy doctor in her bed. One thing I want to note here is that far too often, on television shows, sexy sapphic kissing is either part of a montage or it cuts directly to straight people kissing. I don't know why this happens. I'm sure sometimes it's like, ah yes, kissing to kissing, great transition idea, but I always notice it and I never love it, and I really appreciated that it doesn't happen in this episode. Anyway, when Cass and Teddy get to the hospital, of course Owen is lurking outside like the nightmare creature that he is. Okay, fine, he's just helping Link leave the hospital, which of course makes Teddy start acting weird even though she could have just followed Cass's lead, who is cool as a cucumber. To make matters worse, Teddy's patient today is none other than Nora. I, for one, am never sad to see Floriana Lima's face, but all she does for Teddy is remind her of Owen and how their marriage is falling apart. While she's scanning Nora, Cass finds her and offers to help and is being so gentle and kind, and Teddy brushes her off and pulls away from her hand on her arm. Cass is smart and knows Teddy isn't saying what she means, so she asks if Teddy is acting like this because they ran into Owen, and Teddy snaps at her and says they're at work, not a hotel, and she needs to leave her alone. Cass leaves, annoyed, strutting her sleeveless blazer out into the hospital with her head held high. Teddy, to her credit, is very kind to Nora. She knows her problems with Owen aren't Nora's fault, and she's patient with her when she explains that there's nothing wrong, but that it wasn't a bother at all for her to come in. In fact, she even tells Nora that her and Owen are getting a divorce, in a way that very specifically does not lay blame on Nora, but instead opens a door. Because Teddy knows that Nora and Owen would make each other happy, and she does want that for them. Teddy finds Cass to apologize, and Cass hilariously retorts with, "Apparently I'm only capable of pillow talk." Teddy admits she was right. Running into Owen rattled her, and she wants to explain why. She's a soldier doctor, she likes tight hospital corners, and in fact, once won a competition about it, and sterile rooms, and right now her life is a mess all around her, and she really liked being in the hotel room bubble with Cass where things didn't feel quite so messy. They just felt happy. And she's afraid of that bubble bursting. Cass says that maybe letting their relationship leave the bubble wouldn't make it go away, but just make it bigger. Give Teddy more places where she can feel happy. See Jesse Williams' big return to Grey's Anatomy. In First Look, Jackson Avery and Meredith Grey have reunited at Grey Sloan Memorial. News exclusive First Look at Grey's Anatomy's October 30th episode shows Jesse Williams making a highly anticipated return to medical drama for a tense scene alongside Ellen Pompeo's Meredith Grey in Season 22. In the new clip, Meredith confronts Jackson about a troubling study performed by Tom Korosik, Greg German, a fellow former Grey Sloan Memorial surgeon who published misleading Alzheimer's research findings. He only studied male mice, she says of the befuddling case in the teaser. I did the same experiment with female mice, and when I gave them antibiotics, there was no decrease in Alzheimer's. So now, since he's gone public, people will assume that what's true for male mice is true for all mice. When she continues to pester him about the experiment, Jackson calls her out for leaving her lab, completely unused, and accuses her of not publishing anything amid her elongated stint back in Seattle after relocating to Boston full-time in Season 19 to focus on her Alzheimer's research. Maybe instead of hiding out here all summer, he adds, you could be figuring this out. Indeed, Ellen may have left Grey's Anatomy behind as a series regular in 2023, but she has been a fixture of Season 22 thus far, and isn't the only way she's continued to contribute to the ABC procedural. In addition to remaining on as an executive producer, the 55-year-old still records voiceovers for all of the series episodes. For Ellen, she chose to step down from her starring role so she could focus on new passions. I gotta mix it up a little bit, she explained on the Drew Barrymore show in 2022. My brain is like scrambled eggs. I gotta do something new. You can't do the New York Times crossword puzzle every single day. As for Jesse, who has likewise periodically guest starred on the show since his 2021 departure, the 44-year-old previously reflected on what his time on Grey's meant to him. The experience and endurance born of creating nearly 300 hours of leading global television is a gift I'll carry always, he shared in a statement to E! News when he exited. I am immensely proud of our work, our impact, and to be moving forward with so many tools, opportunities, allies, and dear friends. Episode 4 of Grey's Anatomy Season 22 premieres on ABC at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, October 30th. In the meantime, find out what other doctors who left Grey Sloan are up to now. Isaiah Washington as Preston Burke. In Season 3, Burke abandoned Christina at the altar and then just took off, eventually winning a Harper Avery Award elsewhere, and then at some point, moving to Zurich, Switzerland to open his own high-tech hospital. He got married, started a family, and then in Season 10, he invited Christina to his hospital to take it over for him as he retired. Isaiah Washington left the series after it was reported that he called co-star T.R. Knight a gay slur during an argument on set with Patrick Dempsey, and all his defenses just kept making it worse before he finally was let go from the series. Apparently, he and ABC made up, because they let him return for a second in 2014. As for what Washington has said of the incident, he later issued a public apology, adding in another statement, "I can also no longer deny to myself that there are issues I obviously need to examine within my own soul, and I've asked for help." In the years since his Grey's Anatomy departure, he has starred as Thelonious Jaha on the CW's The 100, until his character died in Season 5, followed by stars critically acclaimed P-Valley. Katherine Heigl as Izzy Stevens. Izzy Stevens got cancer, married Alex Karev, survived the cancer, and then sorta just disappeared in Season 6. She eventually returned for a second and admitted she didn't feel like Seattle was her home anymore. Later, Alex got sent divorce papers, and now we know Izzy secretly had Alex's twins, lives on a ranch in Kansas, and became a surgical oncologist. Katherine Heigl's exit basically began in 2008 when she withdrew her name from Emmy consideration because she didn't feel like the material deserved it. In 2010, the character disappeared completely. She said in the years since that she would like to return to the character, but creator Shonda Rhimes did not. "I'm done with that story," she told TV Line in 2015. Heigl, then a burgeoning rom-com star, went on to star in a few more rom-coms before returning to TV with State of Affairs, then Doubt, and more recently, she had an arc Suits and starred in Firefly Lane until it ended in 2023. Fact check. Is Patrick Dempsey really returning to Grey's Anatomy Season 22? Social media posts claiming Patrick Dempsey will return to Grey's Anatomy Season 22 for 7 episodes are false. No official announcement from ABC, Disney+, or the show's production team confirms the actor's involvement in the current season. The rumor circulated on Facebook, with posts suggesting Derek Shepherd would return, possibly connected to an Alzheimer's storyline. Dempsey's character, Derek Shepherd, died after he met with a fatal car accident in Season 11, Episode 21. Ever since, the character has only appeared in ethereal form, guiding Meredith Grey through the tragedy. Meanwhile, Grey's Anatomy recently returned with Season 22, which premiered on ABC on October 9, 2025. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.